Hey YouTube, Kiraqualia here, bringing you guys another one of my Cardfight Vanguard discussion videos. In this video today, I will be discussing what cards and clans I feel deserve definite support in the upcoming year for Vanguard. We have GPT-14 coming out very soon. Very excited for a lot of the support in that set. And with a lot of the recent sets, I feel like we've developed a good amount of support for cards like Battle Sisters, Maelstrom, and even the Blau with the latest Stargate booster pack. All decks that definitely deserved to have revamps for the new G format with stride effects and whatnot. And they've all just helped with the decks so much to meet their full potential with old effects that the decks delivered. But I feel like there are a lot of old units and subclans that definitely deserve some support after being given support in older packs, but just really haven't popped up at all lately in the more recent packs. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. So to start off with the list, we'll probably start with one of the oldest units that will be on this list, or at least one of them, and that is Blaster Dark. Now, Blaster Dark as a whole has received a good amount of support since the beginning of Vanguard, with it first being part of the Phantom Blaster Dragon ride chain, and receiving plenty of support throughout the rest of Vanguard in the form of Legion, Limit Break, and even a little bit of the G format. My only complaint with the G format is we got the Blaster Dark Diablo grade 3, I would say around the beginning of the G format. It was some of the first Shadow Paladin support that we did receive for the G format, and it definitely didn't disappoint. It was very good at the time. Diablo is still a very powerful stride, especially with Geese coming up. And the biggest thing I think of is we have recent Blaster Blade support with the Aichi Legend deck. I can definitely see us deserving another form of Blaster Dark in the upcoming year. Whether it be a stride given to us, I would say it would still retain a grade 3 status, but something of a revamped grade 3 where we can use more with the generic support and not just the whole basically Blaster lineup. I know that was the basic gimmick of Blaster Dark Diablo, and that Abyss and Revenger kind of stuck to their own lines as well. But I just feel like, Blaster Dark kind of got overshadowed by a lot of the different support now. We've got new Blaster Blade support. I feel this guy definitely deserves some time in the spotlight with some new units as well coming up. And another oldie but goodie that I think definitely deserves either, a revamp or something is CEO Amaterasu. This was one of the first cards that came out in Vanguard, and she definitely was a powerhouse. She was very good at the time for the OTT deck, and she even got some support in upcoming sets for Vanguard, including a cross ride, grade 2 and 1 support, and she even, like I said, became a whole deck of herself with those cards. But I feel like with the upcoming, with the recent years, she kind of got overshadowed by the Susanoo deck and the Battle Sister deck, just because these cards were used more in the G series, because they were used by the 2 characters in the series that did use Oracle Think Tank, and they gave a lot of support to these 2 decks with the packs that we have. We didn't really receive too many Amaterasu cards. The cards that we did receive for her were basically ones with the Legion revival campaign, in which she was given Ohirume for the Legion support, which I think was like the first test at Legion revival, which definitely worked, but we didn't really see much more after that. We only see her in forms like G Guardians and Strides, kind of rising up to that deity status that she deserved, being a legendary card. But I feel that the card herself definitely deserves a spot for her own status as a deck. We've seen so many other ones, and I know a lot of people still associate CEO Amaterasu as their avatar. So seeing her as a grade 3, I know we received the Ren, Kai, and Aichi Legend deck. So to see Misaki Legend deck and having Amaterasu as the main grade 3 of that deck, and then giving us support of a bunch of her old units like Psychic Bird, Silent Tom, even Apollon from the first set, remade into new cards, would definitely be cool. It's something I'd be interested in, because I even used CEO Amaterasu for a good amount of time. So I'd definitely like to see her as a main Vanguard unit again upcoming. And now we're going to move on to some of the sub-clans that I think deserve support. First up, we have Hamsuke. This card received support in the technical booster, in which it received a good amount of support. The only complaint I had is they kind of, either couldn't or didn't know where else to go with the Hamsuke support, or they just kind of wanted to give it that extra support and see how it went from there. And maybe people were kind of disappointed with the Hamsuke support. I wasn't. I was definitely happy with it, but maybe we might even see some other support for decks down the line, like locks or something like that. But I feel like the Hamsuke, deck as a whole definitely deserves something more. Something that lets you customize the deck more than just the basic lineup. Because we have Hamkichi, we have the Hamsuke Grade 3. We basically have the given units from that technical booster that made the deck so you could build it this one way and go from there. Not too much customization. If you built it this way, that was the full potential of the deck. What I think we need is more units for the Hamsuke deck if we really want to see, it go off. It's the one play style that really gets me with this, because we receive, like I said, enough cards to work with the old Hamsuke support, enough to call it its own deck, but really not enough to go any further than what its full potential was with the given unit. So even seeing some triggers, I think, would be nice with this deck. But if we ever do get some more Great Nature support for the Hamsuke line, I don't know. I know a lot of people were happy about it. I'm sure a lot of people will be happy to see it again. I guess we just have to wait and see if this actually does become a thing. Another deck that for subclan that really deserves a step up, well, that is the Rex deck for Tachikazes. Now, this deck has been around for a good while now, and not so much as a subclan as a whole. It's only been recently, I think, with the technical booster and the latest GPT-10 support, that we received a good amount of Rex support. The biggest thing I think the deck needs is just more structure as to what the deck can do as a whole. We've received plenty of different grade 3s and, backup support for the Rex deck, but we haven't really received a good grade 3 that can work with the Rex deck. A grade 3 that, you can ride on your Vanguard, keep it there. I know most of the time people use the Dark Rex for the deck and go from there, but once you ride Dark Rex, you're kind of stuck on a card that doesn't have any effect. You use the Dark Rex for the extra effect. You have the good strides for Rex to go into, but there's nothing really you can use to set up like one that can ride from the Soul, so you can reuse your Dark Rex. Excuse me. That's one thing I really feel that the deck needs again. It has the good backup support. It has options. I know what they're trying to get at with the deck with the whole bind mechanic, but it needs a little more direction, in my opinion, a few more cards to really put it out there as to what it can do as a whole. And moving right along, this is kind of a mix between the whole subclan and one unit in particular, and that unit is Perfect Riser. I've always been a big fan of Risers. They received Legion support in BT17. They received a little bit more support in GBT06 in the form of more Legions, which was kind of a disappointment to me, but one unit for sure is Perfect Riser. This card, if they were ever going to give a Legion Revival to Nova Grappler, I felt this card was the most deserving of it. He had plenty of effects that would perfectly complement Perfect Riser and its Legion. However it worked, giving it the extra critical effects, the backup power effects, would have been for an awesome other option for Risers instead of just going with the Mega Flare. But we definitely have the extra support for Risers, including the trigger lineups and all the different grade 1s and 2s that help with the deck. But like I said, if I ever thought a card got overshadowed and definitely deserved some support, it would be Perfect Riser. Even with the latest G format, if we would have gotten a Riser Stride, I think it would have helped the Mega Flare deck so much, because most of the time you either will just go into a generic Stride over Mega Flare, or you'll use the Mega Flare with the Cat Butler technique. But we didn't really actually get a Riser Stride, and I felt that potential was just wasted so much with set 6 when they just gave us another Legion basically in rare status. We missed a good chance there for some cool support, and it basically left with that. Sorry, I've been talking for a good while in a row, so lost my train of thought. But moving right along, we have, like I said, that Legion support that just would have been so much better if they took the Stride route. But finishing up the video, we have, sorry about that, we have Chronofang Tiger. This is what I think definitely the most overshadowed Gear Chronicle card of all the Gear Chronicle support out there. I know that there are, people that are fans of the Chronos Command deck, and there are people that are fans of the Demiurge deck with the Time Beast support, but I felt like those decks definitely got a lot of support that they needed for the sets. Now, don't get me wrong, Chronofang has gotten some good support out there, but not too much that you can call its own. It has the strides, it has a couple grade 1s and 2s, but what I feel is it really missed out with a lot of the new support we received from like GBT12, in which we received some pretty cool grade 1s and even a new stride. But other than that, we didn't really get too much for it, and I fear with, the upcoming seasons, we won't see too much of Chronofang. So if we ever do get more support for this, it'll either be in the form of maybe, let's say, a Fighters Collection or something like that in, similar relation. And that's to say if we even get more Gear Chronicle support with the upcoming booster sets, because who, like I said, knows what direction the anime is going. If they'll kind of end the theme of Gear Chronicle being one of the main decks, maybe they'll take another new clan up for spin, or another clan will get in the spotlight. And if that's the case, let alone when we won't see any Chrono Jet support, we probably won't see any Chronofang support for a good while. But that is the end of this discussion video. I hope you all enjoyed. I definitely enjoyed talking about these different clans and subclans and cards in general that I feel deserve support. And don't forget to comment down below what cards you want to see get some support, hopefully in this upcoming year with all the different sets we will be receiving for Vanguard. Once again, until next time, this is Kiraqualia, and I'll see you guys later.